We're here in central London right now. It's so cold. It just rained yesterday. Literally just, not rained, sorry. It snowed yesterday. And there were ice on the ground. It was really cold.
Are you sick of your country and plan to get out to study in the UK, US or Australia? The hot weather sucks here. I hate the culture here. The parties here are lame lah. Everyone here is so boring. What? You're on Tinder trying to make friends huh? Hiya. These are the most common complaints of Malaysians that want to go study overseas. What's up guys, it's Darryl here. On today's menu, it's another personal story day because a lot of Malaysians want to go study overseas but they don't know what kind of obstacles they have to go through. They all think it's all rainbows and sunshines. Stick to the end because I'm going to play some videos at the end, which is me doing some stupid things in London. Some videos of me even running around the campus in my underwear. For those of you who graduated from London and just came back, you and I both know something that most people don't. It's not as glamorous as you think it is. Well, the movies do make studying abroad really cool and exciting, but I can tell you right now, it's not as it seems. I get these comments all the time. Whoa, you study in UK ah? Must have rich parents lah. In UK nice or not? The parties there short or not? Wow, damn song way. You can enjoy life there so much and travel so much some more. Well, I did have some good times over there, but it's not to say that I didn't have some good times in Malaysia as well. While there are a lot of good times, there are also a lot of tough times that I had to face a lot of challenges as a 17-year-old all alone going there by myself. With that said, let's dive into my experience when I was in London. When I was deciding to study abroad, I was pretty torn between the UK and the US. But since I stopped my SATs and went over to O-levels, I thought I had a better chance at getting into a uni in London. So I picked psychology. Why? I found it really interesting, but I was never really going to pursue a career in psychology. You know, I'm just going to get that paper to just keep me safe for my entire life. I remembered how it felt like to be in the airport just right before departing. Everyone's sad. I'm sad as well, but at the same time I was excited because going to London, woohoo, like everyone thinks it is. One thing you need to know is having the courage to go overseas all alone with no friends, no bunch of people following you. It really changes you as a person. That was my fault anyway. I messed up some documents while applying for my student visa, so everyone was already in the UK and I was there 3 weeks late. So it was only me, myself, and I. Keep in mind, I was only 17 and I wasn't really an independent kid. I arrived there and I took a taxi to the uni. Turns out the uni was empty. For those of you who study in the UK, you probably know that every Sunday, the whole uni is always going to be empty. I was stunned. I took an hour dragging my bag around the campus looking for the guardhouse until finally I found it. My first year, I didn't get the part-time job because I was homesick, so I buried all my misery in my favorite game, poker. I loved it. I was almost considering doing it as my full-time job. I was making money out of it. I was the vice president of the poker society. It was pretty awesome. Of course, I did still study regularly. Despite how hectic my life was, I still had some discipline and I still knew how to manage my time. However, I got hooked at 18 years old to poker and gambling. On my birthday itself, when I was 18 years old, I went immediately to casino because the casinos in London is 18 and above, not 21 like the US. It then became my home. Me and my friend from India were living the life. Every night we would take the tube to Leicester Square, which is where the biggest casinos are at. We would play poker, blackjack or whatever until it's time to go to a strip club at 3 AM in the morning. In university, we would always be surrounded by girls because he and I, we were the kings of poker. But of course, we were not playing a fair game. He knew how to fix cards and I knew how to distract people. We won a lot of money from a lot of students. At that time, that was a significant amount of cash. We hosted cash games at dorm rooms. We hosted tournaments at the university's bar. We partied all the time. And yet, I still felt empty on the inside. Girls were around me because I had money. Guys were around me because I had the short burst of popularity in the university. Anyway, eventually when my friend got caught for fixing cards, I had to back out. And that's when my life took a dip, a downward spiral. On the second year, I made a very big mistake in terms of renting a place. So therefore, you guys, please be sure to rent the place properly, because I rented this place when I was in Malaysia, when I came back for summer, and that place was a fraternity house. The worst part is I rented that place for 1 whole year, so you can't back out because they have a contract. They partied all day, every day, but since at that point of time, it was my second year, I didn't want to screw it up like I did for the first year, so I did not participate in any of those parties. Therefore, I could not live there. I asked my friends if I could crash at their place, and for the most part, I was pretty much a homeless guy. I even slept at libraries most of the time. I was depressed and I stopped hanging out with my so-called friends. Then I started watching Tai Lopez, Grant Cardone and all the other self-help gurus. And I bought tons of books as well, self-help books of course. And I did not realize that I was entering the self-help world. I then started my journey turning my life around by making new friends, overcoming my fears. I even remembered doing live streams on Leicester Square, asking people to do push-ups just to overcome that fear of talking to random strangers.
Do you like the weather here? Do you think it's a bit too cold?
Definitely too cold.
Too cold,
Yeah.
alright. Okay, so...
I mean, I'm Sri Lankan, so I'm used to
you're Sri
warm
Lankan?
weather. Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
I'm used
nice.
to like hot weather.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
you
I'm
know.
Malaysian, so I
Exactly,
know what
you know
you
what I
like,
mean.
yeah. So, can you do push-ups?
Yeah.
You can do push-ups? Right. Do you know that if you do push-ups, you'll feel warmer? So, can you do 10 push-ups right now? Come on, just 10, just 10.
No,
Come
I
on, just
can't.
10.
I'm going
Come
to
on.
work. I'm gonna mess up
Just
my
no,
clothes.
you won't.
I
Trust me, you
cannot.
won't.
I then took a part-time job when it hit me. I was such a useless brat. Everyone at work hated me for good reason. I didn't know how to mop, I didn't know how to sweep, I didn't know how to wipe. The only thing I knew there was how to flirt with girls. And even they didn't like me, they called me an arrogant prick. I had an instant realization of how much of a dick I was and how much I had to work on my character. All in all, it was a slow but steady journey of my character transformation, but I did become less and less childish and more independent and mature. I started taking up new hobbies like wine tasting, cigar tasting, and even Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Also, I started learning 2 different languages, French and Arabic. French I was level 2, Arabic I was still level 1. But despite all the new things that I was doing in my life, there were still many times where I felt pretty lonely. I never experienced a true romantic relationship. I could not go back to Malaysia to visit my friends and family during festive seasons like Christmas or Chinese New Year. I even remembered being the only person in the tube, all by myself on New Year's Day, all alone, while all my friends were partying, clubbing on New Year's night, counting down. I, on the other hand, was busy working, studying. One guy even came up to me and asked me something so touching that I can still remember until today. He said, "Son, I know you might not understand this at your age, but family is more important than work." But in my heart, I was like, yeah, I do want to meet my family, but they are not in the same country, so that's the end of the second year. Moving on to the third year, I was a whole new version of myself. Hardworking, driven, focused, humble. I worked 10 hours every single day except for Wednesday. I had an hour and a half to get to work by public transport, and I did use that time to study and do my assignments. I started tutoring my friend's daughter, doing master students assignments, training people at the gym for some good side income. I hustled like I never hustled before. I saved up money for traveling, to get tattoos, to buy more books, and this time not the self-help crap, but actually some skill-based books that you actually learn a thing or two. My friend from Malaysia came to live with me for 6 months. I got him a job there, and finally, that point of my life, I was truly fully content and unstoppable. I traveled almost every month. I had a good amount of savings on the side. I mastered the skill of talking to random strangers. Not by reading on how to get better at talking to strangers, but actually going out and talking to people. I also carried a good reputation with my lecturers and my colleagues because even though I didn't attend any of my classes, but I did call out the lecturers one-to-one to ask a couple of questions every single time I'm stuck in an assignment or in my studies. And of course, just when everything was turning out just fine, it was time to go home. Just so you guys know, I didn't attend my graduation at that time because I felt it was completely unnecessary and it wasn't that big of an achievement for me. It was just a graduation. My parents then came to visit me right before we left back to Malaysia, and I was super happy at that time. And we traveled to a couple countries before I left back to Malaysia. If you guys are always curious why I travel so much, it's because at that point in time, like I told you, I travel every single month. I saved up money to travel every single month to different countries. There's a couple countries that I went twice, like France and Italy, but most of them I just visited once. So we've reached the end of the video, and as promised, I'm going to show the video clip right here. I hope it didn't take too long to explain my whole experience in the UK, but this is the briefest explanation I could give because there are a lot of parts that I didn't even put it in. I left it out, but I can cover it in another video. My personal story might have sounded really interesting to some of you, but truth be told, it was a really tough time and it was really hard overcoming certain obstacles when I was there. Being in that position was a huge challenge for me. To come out stronger and wiser, I was really blessed. And a bit of advice to those of you who have yet to go abroad to study: don't gamble, don't party more than once a week, and when you actually save some money, don't spend it all up on designer clothes or designer bags. Start investing earlier on in your life, or use that money to go travel. Now, before you click off, I want to take this time to thank you so much for really watching my video, because I really put a lot of effort into this. If you can see, my videos have completely transitioned into complete business and finance reviews and some personal stories, of course. I did all the editing myself, and also I learned it in a very short period of time using Skillshare, which is down in the description down below. I'm not affiliated with them, but hopefully I wish to be, because they are really some good ways to learn some new skills, you know, instead of spending your time playing an Xbox or something. Anyway, with that said, please give me a like and subscribe, because that will help me out a lot in terms of YouTube actually recognizing that my content is good. I don't want to bore you too much with all this subscribing stuff, but if you like my channel, just come back to watch it. I truly appreciate that. No matter where you are, I appreciate that. But just give me a comment down below and let me know what you think, and maybe some topics that you'd like me to talk about as well. As a Malaysian in Malaysia that studied abroad, I have a lot of experiences, so maybe you can just ask me certain things or give me certain advice if you can. With that said, I hope you have a wonderful week ahead of you, and I'll see you guys next time.